Hey everyone, Simply Zoological here, and welcome to the channel if you're new. If not, then thanks for joining me again for another episode of Saguaro Sanctuary. As you can see in today's video, we are building this amazing habitat for our pack of 4 dingoes, who has just recently become a pack of 5. So make sure you stay for the end cinematics so that way you can see our new little baby be born. But for now, let's go ahead and jump into the video. I'll see you then. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed the intro. But before we get into the video, I do have a couple of points that I would like to go over with you first. So first off, I want to say thank you to those of you who left your name suggestions down in the comments below of last week's video, which if you didn't see that, it was the kangaroo and wallaby walkthrough, which I am extremely proud of, and I will make sure to leave it linked in the top right about now. Secondly, I am going on vacation next week for Thanksgiving, so I will do my best to get a video out for next week, for next Saturday, but I cannot promise anything, seeing as I'm leaving on Thursday, I believe, next Thursday. I don't know that I will have enough time to get a video done and be able to do the voiceover and everything before I leave for vacation. But I will try my best, and I will keep you updated if there are any changes. But that's all I think I have for now, so let's go ahead and get into the actual speed build. So as you can see, I am working on the building for our dingo habitat that you saw in the beginning, and I would just like to say I absolutely love how this turned out, but it was an absolute pain to get it to look the way I wanted it. Going into this build, I had an idea in mind as to what I wanted it to look like, and I definitely pulled it off how I wanted it, but it took me probably 3 to 4 tries of redoing this same building for me to get it how I liked it. And in all honesty, I don't even know that what you're currently watching is my last rendition of this build. I think I might have deleted this build once more and redid it, but I didn't record it. So the building stays the same as you saw in the intro, but I think I might have changed a couple of things, but for the most part it stays pretty much the same. But anyways, as you can see, I am currently working on the roofing, and so what I wanted for this build was I wanted, where you see all of the corrugated metal, I wanted it to be a storage containers for the dingoes to go in, like, so technically this is supposed to be 3 storage containers used in this one build, because if you remember, Saguaro Sanctuary is a little bit more under budget, but now that the night house is complete, we have gotten lots of guests and we have been able to make a decent amount of money. So we were able to splurge a little bit more on this build, which you will see in the end cinematics. But I also, so like I was saying a minute ago, I wanted this build to be a storage container for the dingoes. You have one storage container that was turned into a birthing chamber. So if the alpha female is pregnant, she can go in there to give birth, which we do have a cinematic of that in the end cinematics. So make sure you stay and watch those, because I am extremely happy with how the cinematics turned out. But the one that you're currently looking at is the one where each of the dingoes have their own pen, I guess you could call it. I can't remember exactly what the word is right now, but they can go in here and just hang out at night. This is technically where they would go to be fed and everything at nighttime. And then during the day, for them to go in and hang out and stuff, is the one that is directly to the left of this one. So there are 3 separate storage containers that I used in this build, but I absolutely love how it turned out. And as you can see right now, we have kind of jumped a little bit because I did the framing of the storage containers and a lot of the interior work off camera, because this video is already decently long for me, and it was originally gonna be like a 20-30 minute video, but I cut out a lot of footage so that way it wasn't super long. So if y'all want to see the entirety of the interior, which I do a whole backstage and everything, make sure you stay for at least the first cinematic that we have, because I do a full cinematic tour of the entirety of the interior along with a little bit of the exterior. But now that that's been said, as you can see right now, I am currently working on you saw me a second ago working on the doors for each of the different pins that you can call for the dingoes. So what I'm doing now is to make the pins look like they are automatic. I've made switches for each of the pins. So each door goes to one of these cables, and if you switch the cable, then it will then open or close the door. So, and you'll kind of see in the cinematics, I go in and I number all the switches and everything like that. So, but you'll see all that later. So now that we're doing this, I'm just kind of adjusting these switches and stuff to make them line up and everything. And I'm really happy with how this turned out. It was such a small detail, but it adds so much to the build. And here we are currently working on what I would consider the framing of the door. So the light gray around the door is the girder pieces that I used, and then the metal pieces that I'm working with currently are the marquee beams, as per usual. And I wanted a sliding door for each of the different pins that the dingoes have. That way the keepers can go directly to each pin without having to worry about the dingoes like getting out and stuff like that. So what I've done is I use the marquee beams, and then I take the mesh and use the mesh. I like double it up so it's long rectangles instead of small squares, which you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. And then for the sliding door portion, I use the LED tube end cap pieces for the wheels, which you can see me doing currently. And then once I get this done, I think we do a little bit more on the interior, because for the interior, I worked very hard on it. I think this is probably my best interior that I have ever done. I am extremely proud of myself and my use of pieces in this build. And again, all of that will be shown in the cinematics, because I wanted to record all of it, but when I put all the footage in, it was just such a long video. So I decided to just cut it all out and put it all into a cinematic. So please make sure you stay. I know I've said it a million times, but make sure you stay and watch it if you want to watch how I did the backstaging. If you don't care about that, then go ahead and click off once the video is done or whatever. But here you can see I'm currently working with the meshing, and then once we get this meshing done, I'll just copy this over and do the sliding door as well. And also, I would like to go ahead and tell you a little bit about how we have acquired these dingoes. So I've written a little something with the help of ChatGPT. I will admit, I struggled coming up with a backstory for these dingoes. So what I did was I went on ChatGPT and I asked, hey, what are some realistic scenarios that could happen in real life to cause dingoes to have to live in a zoo for the entirety of their lifetime? And ChatGPT gave me a list of some examples, and so I used those and came up with my own story. So I'm gonna go ahead and read you a little bit of what I've written for them. So, our dingo pack had been living near a rural livestock farm on the edge of the outback. After a dry season left them with dwindling prey and water sources, desperation drove them closer to human settlements. One night, the pack entered a fenced area, unaware that it contained electrified barriers and livestock guarding dogs. Startled and trapped, the dingoes suffered injuries from both the electric shocks and the attacks by the guarding dogs before escaping. Weak, wounded, and unable to fend for themselves, the pack faced starvation. But that next morning, a farmer discovered the injured dingoes and called the wildlife authorities. Recognizing their distress and injuries, rescuers took the pack to a wildlife care center where they received treatment for burns, puncture wounds, and exhaustion. Given the hostility towards dingoes in the area, authorities decided against releasing them back into the wild. And that's when Saguaro Sanctuary stepped in and provided a safe refuge where the pack could recover and live their lives out in peace. Now, healthy and thriving, the dingoes live as a family in a naturalistic habitat at Saguaro Sanctuary. Their story educates visitors about the challenges dingoes face from human-wildlife conflict and highlights the importance of coexistence and conservation efforts to protect native predators. Their names are Audrey, the alpha female, Arlo, the alpha male, and their older pups being Ava and Amelia, and their newest little pup being Amaya, which you will see in the cinematics. So again, make sure you stay for those because she is so cute and I cannot wait for y'all to meet her. But now, as you can see, so that was a little bit of the backstory on them. So they were injured and they were very hurt. They came to us pretty scared and pretty timid. But they've, with excruciating care and treatment for these guys, they have come around to humans a little bit more. They're still very timid and they won't go up to the fence all the way. But you may be able to get a good look at them hunting their prey or something in the habitat. But for now, it is almost time for me to sign off, but I do want to point out really quickly that as you see me planting, again, the cinematics is a full tour of the backstage, and I do 3 separate backstage areas, so make sure you stay for that. I am so proud of myself with how this entire thing came together. But that's really all I have for y'all today. So I think I'm probably gonna go ahead and leave y'all with the rest of the foliage work. I think I just add in this group of grass. You saw I did the rocks off camera and everything because again, it was just would have been such a long video if I hadn't. But then I think I go in here in a second with some bushes and some other trees and stuff, and I think I change out all of the, I think those are the Joshua's trees or the ponytail palms or something like that. I changed all of those out for the eucalyptus trees, and they look so much better in this habitat. But anyways, I will go ahead and sign off. I hope to see y'all again next week, and I will do my very best to try and get a video out. But anyways, I will talk to y'all later. Bye!